Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are doing fine at home. I am your teacher Neha and today we are going to see the chemistry 7th standard, and today the lesson which we are going to see is atom and molecule. So students, today we are going to see the second part of this lesson. So let's go to the chapter. So students, in previous videos we have discussed about how a periodic table came and what are the small elements present, and inside each element there will be hundreds and hundreds of atoms. So today let's see about how the structure of an atom was originated. So children, if you are seeing this picture is denoting the structure of an atom. So here you can see that something is there in between with two colors. Then outside there are yellow balls which are just rotating outside, right? So let us discuss what are these substances. So students, this part, the internal part where the two colors of balls are there, that part is known as a nucleus. Okay. So nucleus is consisting of two different types of substance, and that two substances are proton and neutron. So here we can take that green one is proton and the remaining, which is orangish in color, that is a neutron. Okay. And the substance which is like a small ball rotating outside, these lines are known as the orbits, and the substance which is moving inside that, it's known as a electron. What it is? Electron. So this is the structure of an atom. So this is the main structure. Okay children. So this time now we are going to discuss each in detail. So what are the charges, what are the mass and etc. So now let's see what is the nucleus. So children, I told you the nucleus is the center part of the atom, and nucleus is so small that if you are trying to see it through even the microscope, you cannot see that because it is 10,000 times smaller than the atom. So that is why what happens is when you are passing a ray through it, the deflection only at the nucleus will come back. But here the nucleus size is small. Plus there is so much empty space due to the presence of orbits and less number of electrons. So what is the nucleus children? Nucleus is the mixture of neutron plus proton. Okay. Plus I told you that a nucleus is 10,000 times. How many times? 10,000 times smaller than the atom. Okay. So this is the main thing about the nucleus. Now let's consider what are the three different things, which is neutron, proton and electron. So first let's start with the nucleus, in which first proton is present. So what it is? Proton. So children, proton comes from the name pro plus ton. So ton can be a small atom and pro means it will be in positive charge, plus in this you will see that the mass of one proton will be equal to the mass of one single hydrogen. So the mass of proton is equal to 1 hydrogen mass. Okay. Same way, if you want to consider the neutrons, then the spelling of neutron is Neutron. So here on means an atom. Neut comes from the name as neutral. That means the charge. What is this? Charge is equal to 0. It is a neutral charge. Same way, a neutron will be equal to again the mass of an hydrogen. So what it is? Mass of an hydrogen. And last one is electron. So children, I have told you that electrons revolve around an orbit. So this black color substance which you can see that lines, these lines are known as orbits, and the electron will only rotate in the orbits, okay? And let's start with the electron. So if I want to write what is an electron charge, I will write electron charge as, first the spelling, electron, and again this is an atom, and electron means a negatively charged particle which is having the mass of 1 divided by 1, 8, 3, 7 times of an proton. So just imagine how small it is. So there are 137 parts. In that, only one part is the mass of an electron. So that is why we are saying that the mass of an electron is very less. Yes. Now let's see why electrons are arranged around a nucleus and how they are arranged. So children, generally the structure of an atom is like this. In between there are protons and neutrons, and outside in the orbits there are arrangement of electrons. So how they are getting arranged? Are they getting arranged randomly? No, they are getting arranged according to the number of electron in each shell. So how it is represented as, example, this is a nucleus. Around that there are 3 shells, and in the first shell there will be always presence of 2 electrons. So how many electrons are present? In the first shell there are 2 electrons, and later on when you are going to the third one, there will be 8 electrons, and even in the second it will be 8 electrons, okay? So this is the way how the electrons are arranged in an atom. Now let's see what we are going to discuss over here. We are going to discuss about the valency. So children, these elements are in a periodic table. So in these all elements, the outermost shell will be less than the 8 substance, okay, or 8 atoms or electrons. Same way, but the last one, the last row, which is known as the noble gas elements will have fully filled electron or fully filled shell. So now let's see how the elements react. So children, for example, if I take sodium, if I am taking a sodium, in the outer shell there will be only 1 electron present. See, I will show you here. There is only 1. So what happens here? This 1 electron goes with the chlorine, and chlorine gets a good bond when it is having a fully filled electron, and the energy gets released. This is the way how the chemical bond is happening, okay? Yes, now let's come to the concept of valencies. So children, valency depends upon how an electron from the outer shell will be removed or will be added. So that is of 2 types. One is addition of electrons and another one is removal of electrons. So how this happens is, let's see here. So when you are talking about a positive atom, let us take the example of sodium. So sodium is having 11 electrons, okay? So first will be 2, second shell will be having 8, and last one, that is the 11th electron, will be there in the last shell. So when it is there, only 1 shell is there, right? If it removes that 1 shell, it will become the valency of Na plus. That means it has removed an electron from that, okay? Same way, this is known as a monovalent valency. What it is? Monovalent, because here only 1 electron went, right? Yes. Now let's see the second example. Second example is Mg. So Mg is magnesium. So in magnesium you can see that the last shell is having only 2 electrons. So if it wants to get the fully filled electron, instead of getting 6 electrons, it can remove 2 electrons, right? So if it is removing 2 electrons, again the valency will become 2 plus, and this will be a magnesium ion. Same way, this is known as a divalent positive valency, okay? Yes. And the last one is aluminium. So children, aluminium, you can see that in the last shell there is 1, 2 and 3 electrons present. So when there are 3 electrons, instead of adding electrons, it can easily remove the electrons. So the valency of it will become Al3 plus. It can remove it, right? And it is known as a trivalent valency. And there comes the iron. So children, in iron what you can see that iron can be of having 2 valencies. So there are totally how many electrons? There are 2 electrons. So if by chance it removes one, it will become Fe plus, but it wants a stable one. So it will remove the 2 electron and it will become Fe2 plus, okay, so that it becomes balanced. So students, now let us come to the concept of multiple valency. Multiple valency can also be known as variable valency. So what happens here is, let us take 4 examples, that is iron, copper, silver and mercury. So these are the 4 elements which will show more than one type of valency. So let us take first iron. So when you are taking iron, iron is also known as ferrum, and if from iron you remove 2 electrons, it will become Fe2 plus and the name will be known as ferrous. Same way, if you are removing the 3 electrons, it will become Fe3 plus and the name will be known as ferric. Okay. Let us come to the copper. So copper is also known as cuprum. So in cuprum, if you are removing 1 electron, it will become Cu plus and the name will be cuprous. Same way, if you remove 2 electrons, it will be Cu2 plus and the name will be cupric. Okay. Then silver. So silver is having the name as argentinum. So argentinum is a Latin name. Okay. So using this Latin name, if there is removal of 1 electron, it will become Ag plus and the name will be known as argentus. Okay. And if there are removal of 2 electrons, then Ag2 plus and the name will be argentic. Okay. And the last one is mercury. So children, mercury is having generally symbol of Hg. What it is? Hg. And from mercury, if 1 electron is removed, it will be written as Hg plus and the name will be mercurous. Okay. And mercuric is representing as Hg2 plus and name is mercuric. Okay. So this is the multiple valency or variable valency examples. So now let us take the example of fluorine. So fluorine is having the total number of electrons as 9. So inner shell will have 2 electrons and outer shell will have 7 electrons. So if it wants to fully fill the electron, it will gain 1 electron, right? It will be easier to gain an electron instead of removing the 7 electrons. So when it is gaining, the symbol will become as F minus because there are extra electrons present. Okay. Same way, if you are taking the another example is sulfur. So in outer shell of sulfur, again there are how many electrons? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So to become stable, it needs 2 more electrons. So when it is having 2 more electrons, it will become S2 minus and it will be stable. And the last one here is an example of phosphorus. So phosphorus is having how many electrons, children, in outer shell? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it needs how many electrons to fully fill? It needs 3 electrons. So when it's adding 3 electrons, it will become P3 minus and it will become stable. Okay. Yes. So now let's come how to write the formula using the valencies. So let me take the first example as magnesium chloride. So when I am taking magnesium chloride, children, I will write magnesium as Mg and Mg will have +1 valency. Same way, chloride means chlorine and chlorine can be written as Cl and here it will be -1. Now what you have to do is, you have to shift the valency. So when you are shifting the valency, it will come as Mg1Cl1. See here, we are not considering the charges, children, only the number. Like this we are doing. Okay. So it will come as Mg1 and Cl1. So instead of writing Mg1 and Cl1, we can write formula as MgCl. So this is the formula of magnesium chloride. Okay. So now let's find the valency of copper sulfate. So children, sulfate is written as SO4 and it is having the valency of -2. So let me write here, calcium is having Ca and the valency is 2 plus, and again the sulfate will be written as SO4 and the valency I said is -2. When you are doing the cross multiplication, you will get as Ca2SO4 and in brackets 2. So instead of writing like this, we can write it as CaSO4 and the formula of calcium sulfate. Okay. Now last let's just write the formula of potassium dichromate. So children, potassium is written as K, which is the symbol, and the valency of one potassium will be +1. Dichromate is again a combination of two elements, which is chromium and oxygen. So how it will be written as Cr2O7. This is dichromate, okay, and the charge will be -2. This whole charge will be -2. So when you are doing the cross multiplication, you are getting as K2Cr2O7. So this you cannot divide further, right? So instead of dividing it further, we are taking as it is and I am writing the formula as K2Cr2O7. So this is the formula of potassium dichromate. Okay. Now let's see about the periodic table. So children, this is a periodic table which we have started and seen also in the first video and even in this video previously. So now let's talk about the top 20 elements which are present in a periodic table. So it will go as hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron. So these are the top 5. See children, when you come to the higher section, if you are learning the top 20 elements, it will be very easy for you. Okay. So let us repeat it again. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium and boron. Then it comes to carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. Then sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus. And the last row is sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium and calcium. So children, after this element, it comes to the D block elements which is there in the center. Okay. So students, that center, when you are coming to higher section, I will show you a trick. So I am telling you the name of scientist which is Skutufkrom Fekkonikazn. Again I will repeat it, Skutufkrom and Fekkonikazn. So students, in next video I am going to tell you what is Skutufkrom and Fekkonikazn. Okay. Yes. So students, in this lesson we have discussed about so many things about the atom, the subatomic particles and again the how to write the formulas. Okay. So when you are going to the description box, you can go to the atomic structure which is having the study material, question bank and self-assessment. So children, once you are done with this, you will get to know that how much you have understood the lesson. Okay children? Yes. So students, until we meet next time with a super video again and the concept behind Skutufkrom Fekkonikazn, until then, bye bye.